So last night on Friday Night SmackDown saw the debut of former NFL star Pat McAfee on the SmackDown commentary team, teaming up with Michael Cole. Pat McAfee is the new color commentator for Friday Night SmackDown on Fox. And to be honest, I'll get into my analysis of him as we go through the video here. But to be honest, I thought he did fantastic. I thought he did a fantastic job. And to be honest, that wasn't a massive surprise for me, because if you watched the video yesterday, I did a video yesterday when the news was announced that Pat McAfee was going to be the new commentator, the new color commentator for Friday Night SmackDown, and I said at the time I thought he'd do a great job. I thought he would do a great job, and he did do a good job. If you looked at the work that he did when he was part of the commentary team briefly in 2019 on that NXT SmackDown episode on Fox after Crown Jewel in 2019, he was fantastic. If you've seen him on any of the pre-shows, if you've seen him on NXT, you know that he's got such a great personality, and he's so different, and he's so unique, and he's got this passion that I thought he'd be fantastic. And to be honest with you, I was surprised. I was slightly surprised to see some people react so negatively when the announcement was made. Maybe that's just on the back of the releases. That's understandable. But some people were really like, stupid decision. Stupid. Why would you have him do that? Give him a chance. Give him a chance. And we've given him a chance. His first episode, I think there's a way to go. But I thought he was excellent. Far better than Adnan Virk. I know they're different roles, especially as being a play-by-play man and a color commentator, one on Raw, one on SmackDown. But I thought he did fantastic. And at the time, my initial reaction was, you can go back and watch it yesterday, was that he will be a success on SmackDown as long as he is allowed to be himself. He is a unique personality. He's a unique character. I didn't want to see him wearing a blazer. I wanted to see him be Pat McAfee. I wanted to see him in a vest, in shorts, standing up at ringside, all that stuff, which is what he does. And we got a little bit of professionalism in that he wore a blazer, but he was still Pat McAfee. He was standing up for the majority of the show. He was allowed to be himself. And that, for me, is the key for Pat McAfee being successful as a commentator on SmackDown. If he's allowed to be himself, if he's allowed to be Pat McAfee, you've got a winner there. Now, is he going to be the next Jesse Ventura or Bobby the Brain Heenan or Paul Heyman or Jerry Lawler? I don't know. But someone that's a little bit, different. Someone's got a little bit of a unique personality. Look at those names that I've just said. Jerry Lawler, Bobby Heenan, Jesse the Body Ventura, Paul Heyman. They're all just completely unique characters in their own way. They're also, you can't replicate them. And Pat McAfee's the same. Is he going to be the same version of them? I don't know. Is he going to be as successful as them? I don't know. But if he's allowed to be himself, if he's allowed to be Pat McAfee, then who knows? The sky really is the limit for him. And that's what I felt. And watching SmackDown last night, I still feel exactly the same. And I'm encouraged with these reports that are now coming out of saying that WWE was reportedly ready to let Pat McAfee be himself on the air while he calls SmackDown on Fox with Michael Cole each and every week on Fox. Now, as noted, as I mentioned, McAfee made his SmackDown commentary debut last night for the post-WrestleMania 37 episode of the show on Fox. Now, Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated is now reporting that this platform is an opportunity that Pat McAfee has wanted for a while. Now, the current plan as of right now, which we must emphasize there, but the current plan as of right now is to let Pat McAfee be himself on the air and to avoid overproducing him. Now, that's I think there should be a big asterisk over that, if that's asterisk? Whatever. However you say it, there should be a real asterisk over that, because the aim to avoid overproducing Pat McAfee, I'm sure WWE has the best intentions there, but this is still Vince McMahon who is going to be in his ear, and he just can't help himself. How many times have we seen Vince McMahon attempt to do anything and then just go back and revert into type? How many times have we seen Vince McMahon try and delegate? How many times have we seen people come and go? The executive director of positions of Raw and SmackDown are a perfect example of this. Paul Heyman's going to be the executive director of Raw. Eric Bischoff's going to be the executive director of SmackDown, because Vince McMahon, he needs to step back. I need to delegate. I need to stop being so hands-on. I'm going to give some responsibility to someone else. So many times over the years, we've seen Vince McMahon come up with ideas or scenarios where I'm going to step back and not do this. I'm not going to be so hands-on, or I'm not going to micromanage, or I'm not going to produce this person so much, and give it a couple of weeks. So it will remain to be seen how long it lasts this way with Pat McAfee's personality and the way that WWE overproduces everyone at time. I mean, this is a company that overproduces everything, not just the commentators. We're talking talent on their promos, talent on their pre-tapes, talent inside of the ring. I remember a couple of years ago when Trish Stratus had that match against Charlotte Flair was that, SummerSlam 2019 in Toronto. And this is a legend, Trish Stratus. She's going around at the end of the match. Charlotte Flair wins. And at the end of the match, Trish Stratus, she's waving to the crowd. She's saying goodbye. The referee, I'm not exaggerating, the referee goes up to Trish Stratus. You can go back and watch it. It's on the tape. She goes to Trish Stratus and goes, go to this turnbuckle. Go to that turnbuckle. It was that heavily produced. The referee is getting a message from Vince McMahon in Gorilla or whoever in the Gorilla position telling someone like Trish Stratus, a WWE legend, go to that corner. Go to that corner. I mean, talk about micromanaging talent there. Talk about overproducing. You're telling someone literally, go to that turnbuckle, go to that turnbuckle. And we've heard those stories before. I've seen several interviews where they're saying now there's no creativity in WWE because you get in the ring, essentially, and you're a puppet. You get in the ring and the referee will be telling you, okay, go to this spot, Irish whip into the ropes, you do this. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. So the idea that they won't overproduce Pat McAfee will remain to be seen. It will remain to be seen. But look, let's be honest. I thought he did great last night. And if they allow him to be himself, if they allow Pat McAfee to be Pat McAfee, they're on to a winner. It's just a case of if WWE can actually do that. Now, this new WWE role for McAfee will allow him to continue his work on other projects, including the Pat McAfee Show podcast. It was also noted, and this is important as well, that the timing of the McAfee SmackDown announcement was not related to the WWE budget cuts made the day prior. That had been a hot topic among fans on social media this week. Now, Triple H has also praised Pat McAfee on social media after SmackDown, and rightfully so. I thought he was fantastic. Triple H said, quotes, "A man of many talents and a drive to make anything possible. Congratulations to Pat McAfee for his first night on SmackDown commentary. Hashtag first day on the job. Hashtag Pat's up to something." And Pat McAfee responded saying, "Thanks for the opportunity, boss man." And like I said, I thought it was absolutely well deserved. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he was excellent. And he was really a breath of fresh air on the show. And look, if you can have someone that's that entertaining on commentary, sometimes if what you're seeing on screen isn't all that great, it can just take it up a level and make the show watchable. So Pat McAfee, I'm excited to see what he can do going forward. I really am. And who knows, he might even do some more matches on WWE television as well, because I thought he did fantastic in NXT as well. So I must say, thoroughly enjoyed Pat McAfee on SmackDown. And if they let him be Pat McAfee, they're on to a winner. They're absolutely on to a winner there. So that was fantastic last night. Now, I did want to talk about Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, because this was really interesting. So I spoke about Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated. Well, he's also done a report on Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. Now, obviously, we saw last night on SmackDown that this feud looks set to continue going forward on WWE television because the main event of WrestleMania 37 Night 1 saw Bianca Belair capture the SmackDown Women's Championship by defeating Sasha Banks. Now, Justin Barrasso, as I mentioned, of Sports Illustrated, has been reporting that within WWE there was universal praise for the work of Banks and Belair in their WrestleMania match. And it's not just within WWE that there was universal praise for this match. I think all over social media and just any fan of pro wrestling just absolutely loved that match. It was fantastic. Well worthy of a WrestleMania main event. Historic, and I hope to see them work again. It was fantastic. Now, it was also noted, and this is really the big news here, I think. It was also said that internally, Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair is the single biggest narrative in WWE right now, with the work of WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns a close second. So that's really interesting. So considering that Roman Reigns was in that main event spot of night 2, and the work that he's doing, all of the attention and work that goes into his character and his storylines on WWE television, if that report by Justin Barrasso is to be believed, then the first priority and the thing that people are talking about the most right now when it comes to WWE, not Raw, not SmackDown, just WWE in general, is Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. And that is a testament. That is a testament to the work that they are doing right now. It's a testament to WWE's commitment to women's wrestling. And long may it continue. Long may it continue. Like I said before, the idea that some people have when it comes to women's wrestling, women's wrestling doesn't draw, or it's not good enough, or it's boring. Watch that WrestleMania main event. Watch the main event. Watch the ratings. For the last year, when Sasha Banks and Bayley were feuding on SmackDown, they would be in the highest rated segments of the show. The idea that women's wrestling doesn't draw or it's boring is a myth at this point, and it's dinosaurs stuck in a bygone era. That is money. The Bianca Belair and the Sasha Banks feud at the moment is money, and I'm glad to hear that is the biggest narrative in WWE right now. I really am. Now, Last night's post-WrestleMania 37 edition of SmackDown saw Bianca Belair celebrate her SmackDown Women's Championship victory with the Street Profits. Now, after that, Sasha Banks was interviewed backstage and was seething over the mark on her body that was left from the hair strike by Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. Now, Banks was too angry to speak and stormed off as if she was going to confront Belair, but that never happened. Now, it was also noted by Barrasso before SmackDown that Banks was scheduled to confront Bianca Belair on the show, but it's possible that they pushed that segment back to next week to allow Belair some time to celebrate this week. Barrasso noted after the show that he was told to expect more of a confrontation between Banks and Belair coming soon. So I think, to be honest, as I mentioned, we're going to see more of this. I would assume we're probably going to get the rematch at Backlash or the WrestleMania Backlash, whatever it's called at this point. But I'm just really glad to see that it was getting universal praise. I don't think it was necessary to have Sasha Banks confront Bianca Belair last night. I think WrestleMania was a crowning moment, really, wasn't it, for Bianca Belair? It felt like, for me, like I said before, it felt like WrestleMania 21. It felt like the Raw side of things. You had Rhea Ripley. She won the title and was established as a new star. Bianca Belair won the SmackDown Women's Championship. She was established as a new star. You've got two new big stars now in the women's division in WWE, which is needed. The time of being over-reliant on the four horsewomen, on a Ronda Rousey, on an Asuka as well, that time is kind of over. Those stars are there and they're still big, big stars, but you can't rely on them forever. You need to bring in new stars. That's what happened in the Attitude Era. And I don't mean to be one of those people that's always like, well, in the Attitude Era, blah, blah, blah. But we saw what happens in the Attitude Era, that if you get some people that are over already, it's not about relying on them. It's about bringing more people up to their level, because once you've got a plethora of stars, that's when you start to really, really make money. So that's why they're bringing up a Rhea Ripley. That's why they're bringing up a Bianca Belair right now. So I think they needed to let it simmer last night, and I think they did the right call last night. I really do. I don't think it was time to have Bianca Belair be out there celebrating her title win and then Sasha Banks come out and just confront her. I think it's smart to have Sasha Banks seething for a couple of weeks, maybe be a bit angry. Maybe the confrontation happens next week. Maybe it happens the week after that. You know, Backlash is in May. We know WWE traditionally at this point now, they don't decide on the card till 2 weeks before the show anyway. So let it simmer. Let it simmer. You've got time. Let it, take your time with this one. There's no need to rush it. So glad to see it's getting all the praise that it deserves. Now, finally, I did want to touch on this after SmackDown last night. Now, Apollo Crews has revealed the name of his, the new name of Dabba-Kato going forward. Of course, Dabba-Kato happened to win the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. Now, the new WWE Intercontinental Champion, Apollo Crews, appeared with his new muscle during a backstage segment on last night's SmackDown on Fox and confirmed that the big man is now being called Commander Aziz. As noted, Crews defeated Big E in a Nigerian drum fight to win the title during Night 2 of WrestleMania 37. Crews got the win after Commander Aziz, formerly known as Dabba-Kato Babatunde, hit the ring and destroyed Big E. Commander Aziz is the same name that WWE filed to trademark shortly before WrestleMania 37, so we know when the finish of that was decided. Now, on last night's SmackDown, Crews laughed about Big E and said he would offer the former champion a rematch, but he was not at the show due to the beating that he took at WrestleMania 37 from them both. Now, Crews offered some background information on Commander Aziz and said he's a former member of the Nigerian Elite Guard. He's not, by the way. He was on Raw Underground a few months ago, but Crews also named the move that Big E was hit with at WrestleMania and called it the Nigerian Nail. Crews warned that if anyone dares to come for his Intercontinental Championship, they'll be annihilated by the Nigerian Nail. Now, there's no word yet on if Big E will get a rematch at WrestleMania Backlash, but we'll keep you updated as to if that happens. Now, it's no secret that this Apollo Crews character, it's not that I'm not a fan. I must emphasize that. It's not that I'm not a fan. There are just parts of this that to me just feel so stuck in the past, and that's really my issue with it. The accent for me, hopefully, I know some people get a bit upset with me when I say this, the accent, I have no problem with a Nigerian accent, by the way, at all. What I do have a problem is with a bad accent, with someone. It's like if you watch a film and someone's doing any accent, whether it's a British accent, an American accent, whatever accent, if it's a bad accent and they're just not doing it well, you go, that's a bad accent. That's someone trying to do an accent. I think that's the problem there. Maybe it will get better, I don't know. So that's one thing. And just this whole, Commander Aziz is a member of the Nigerian Elite Guard. And it's like, this gimmick is so rooted in the 1980s. It has Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon's fingerprints all over it, because this is exactly a storyline you would have seen on an episode of Superstars or Wrestling Challenge or whatever in 1985, with Vince McMahon and Jesse the Body Ventura doing commentary, or whoever, or Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan doing commentary. You can see it. You can see it. This would be a gimmick that they would do in WWE at that time, and then Hulk Hogan would beat Apollo Crews at WrestleMania 4 or something like that. That's what they would do. That is exactly what they would do. It is just such a gimmick that has, as I mentioned, Bruce Pritchard's and Vince McMahon's fingerprints all over it. Oh, no, he can embrace his Nigerian roots, and then if he's from Nigeria, that means he can have this big muscle, and he can be a member of the Nigerian elite guard, and yes, he can be called Commander Aziz, and he can be in the military. It's like, come on. You know, you don't need to play up to that. Why can't you just have a modern day person from Nigeria? Why can't you go, I'm going to embrace my roots? But why does it suddenly has to be all military and all that kind of stuff? You know, it just really doesn't feel necessary. And I get it that it's pro wrestling, and it's not as if no one's ever been repackaged before. And, you know, Kane is a famous example. He's Isaac Yankem, fake Diesel. We get it. But this is Commander Aziz, Babatunde, Dabba-Kato, whatever you want to call him. He was on television just a couple of months ago, and he was on television as Dabba-Kato in Raw Underground, and he was Shane McMahon's sort of muscle. So could you at least not try to maybe say that in the same way Dabba-Kato embrace his roots or something like that? Could you have not have said that instead? Instead, it's just this, we've never seen him before. I've never seen him before. Come on. Especially in this day and age. You might have got away with it, 10 years or so ago before social media, but everyone remembers. Everyone remembers at this point. It's just insulting to the intelligence. That's my problem with it. It's, well, we've never seen this guy before, and why does he have to be a military guy? And it just reeks of the 1980s. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad to see Apollo Crews being used. I really am glad to see him getting used. And by all accounts, he's finally won over Vince McMahon's trust being in this role and being in a gimmick. That's great. I see it, and I really wonder if there were live fans in every single week, how would they react to this? Because I just don't know if they really would. I think they would just say, this gimmick is old. It's really old. So that's my problem with it. But look, as always, it's just one man's opinion. What are your thoughts on Pat McAfee on commentary last night, the Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks feud right now, and Apollo Crews' new Commander Aziz character in the background? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll do my best to respond and reply to all of your comments. Really enjoy interacting with you guys, talking about WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, all things pro wrestling here on the channel. So be sure to get involved in the community. Drop a comment below. All opinions are welcome. If you have enjoyed this video, please do smash a like on the like button too. It really does help us out here on YouTube. Go up the rankings and get into people's recommendation feeds if they haven't seen our videos previously. But most importantly, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to Wrestle News 365. You can do that by clicking the bottom right hand corner of the screen right now. Or if you wait a few seconds, there'll be a subscribe button at the end of this video, along with another video for you to watch. Thank you very much for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.